This is Tuesday, the 14th of February. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Starting out, as we always do, with a look at the S&P 500. Markets moved down a little bit today, but still overall, since our last update at noon yesterday, the market has continued higher. So we're going to push up the 2-hour Heikinai line just about to where the current price is testing this area. The daily line moves up after yesterday's candle was completed, and our 3-day candle stays the same so far. So we're still in a yellow, green, and blue, obviously very bullish. Trend stays intact so far despite today's small pullback. And of course, if you look at that in the context of all these other lines, you can see that this is a very small pullback. We had Yellen testifying today, and markets just kind of back and forth between some areas of support and resistance, as we talked about in the chat room this morning. If we look at the SPY, for example, back up to break even for the day after debating the pivot area and the S1 line, just back and forth all morning, back to break even. So let's take a look at the bear watch list first off, that scan. And as you can see, consumer cyclical stocks, not as much on this list as it was just a couple of weeks ago, but still some of those stocks are on your cores. Seeing a little bit of a rally today, but still obviously qualified as a bear stock on here. I would also mention Depot in the healthcare sector has been on this list for quite some time, still very well qualified as it continues to push lower. On the bull watch side of things, there were so many that have 28 green check marks that I had to kind of limit it, and I decided to focus on a couple different sectors that are the strongest sectors at this point, those being financials, which make up about half of this list, as you can see today, and then industrials and technology, which of course has been strong for quite some time. I have highlighted a couple here. PNC continues to move up. This has been on this bull watch list for quite some time. 30 green check marks here, and we'll talk about in just a second. I'll look at pullbacks and opportunities for buying in to these trends, that sort of thing. We'll talk about that in just a second. But just to mention these other ones, UNM, I think was one of the ones I mentioned yesterday. Yeah, it was. Continue to push up today. LLTC, again, nice charts here, very bullish qualified. And again, just to remind you, if you're new to joining us, these check marks represent the 3-day trend over here in the far left, the daily trend, kind of these lighter green check marks here. And then the 2-hour trend is signified by these on these far right here. So 30 green check marks on all, and all of these have at least 28 green check marks. ADI in the technology sector continues to look well, as does Adobe. So just to kind of highlight those. Overall, what I like to see up here in this top right corner, I'm not looking at the full chart with all the indicators in this video, but one of the key things I like to see is on the Ichimoku indicators. I like to see the span A, which is this yellow line here, being above span B. I like to see those lines rising, which means that we have a rising level of price support as price continues to move higher. Chiku is this purple line right in here, and that's kind of helps us know trends in the market via Ichimoku, and I like to see that above the historical price curve, which would be considered here. So just to point out a couple of Ichimoku indicators. All right, so that's what I see happening in terms of trends. What I also wanted to show you, though, was one of the things you can look at is when do you jump in to these momentum trend trades. And these are momentum trend trades. These are trades that are doing very well in the market, strong support, but it's a little bit risky, obviously, to buy at the high. All right, so one of the things I've done on this list is I've taken yesterday's bull watch list, and the scan has changed a little bit from where it was about 30 minutes ago when I did the scan. But this looks at some of yesterday's bull watch stocks and looks at them in terms of some support, and these are ones that qualified just a little while ago as being good pullbacks and possible long entries. So you can always scan, you can always stop the video, of course, and look at this. But just to explain briefly, the charts that you're looking at on this screenshot our 2-hour chart over here on the left, and then a 30-minute chart to drill down into some possible pullbacks. So for example, you could see where LM pulled back into this area here, just slightly oversold at that point and then pushed back up. CDNS did the same thing, just had a little bit of a push back down in here and then moved back up to a fresh high. So that's what you'll see on pretty much all of these. Some of these ALL still a little bit oversold here. This is one of the bull stocks I mentioned yesterday in the insurance area. It has pulled back a little bit today, but still well qualified as a bull, and a little bit oversold at this point. So just wanted to go over that list and show you opportunities for possibly jumping in. These white lines that you see as I go through the list represent possible areas of support. All right, longer video today. Hope this video is helpful for you, and I'll touch on a couple of new things each day, hopefully, as we go through these scans. All right, talk to you later.